Welcome to Catch a Star. Hi, I'm Nola Carello, reporting from Music Circus. With me is Juliet Prowse, starring in the best little horror house in Texas. Juliet is beautiful, vivacious, and talented. She's indeed an international star who commands everyone's attention, whether she's appearing in television, the movies, or the theater. Welcome to Sacramento.
Thank you. Great to be here.
What is your secret for success?
Oh, I don't think there is any such thing as a secret for success. I think a lot of it has to do with karma, as they say, being in the right place at the right time, having the right opportunities to do things, and having the talent, hopefully.
What launched your Hollywood career? What movie?
The very first thing I did, and I was brought out to do, was a movie called Can. I was brought out from Italy. I had met the choreographer Hermes Pan in Italy. And he said, if I ever get a chance, I'm going to try and bring you to America. And when Can came about, he said, I want this girl in the movie. And that's how I got here.
Well, we're so glad you did. I know recently my husband, Dick, and myself were watching PBS. And you were the host for the 1986, I believe, the Professional and Amateur Ballroom Dance Championships. And I have to ask you, why was there so much booing this time, you know, when certain couples were announced for certain positions?
Well, that happens a lot. I've been doing this now for 5 years, and you know, people who come and watch, the spectators are rooting for their people. They have a lot of people who come who they're rooting for, and a lot of times it's real hard. I mean, they're so close together because they're so good. When you get to that caliber of dancer in the ballroom competitions, it's very hard to pick one above the other. It really is, because they're so close. And, you know, if someone comes first and the other one is second, they really came first, all of those people, you know, because it's just, and that's what the booing is all about.
They were all champions. What was your favorite dance? What is your favorite dance?
My favorite dance of all dancing in the world? Mm-hmm. Well, you really want to know? Yeah. Flamenco. I love flamenco, good flamenco. I just think it's the most exciting dancing.
What about the international dances, all the international dances?
Like in the ballroom competitions? Probably in the Latin category. Well, not necessarily. I love the quick step. I think that's terrific. I think the quick step is wonderful.
Who is your role model as an actress and singer and dancer?
I never really had a role model, so to speak, because when I was growing up as a child, all of my training was classical ballet. And, of course, I grew up with Margot Fonteyn and Moira Shearer and those people. But in the actual musical comedy side, I guess if there was a role model, it would probably have to be like a Gwen Verdon.
I know the men, especially my cameraman, wants me to ask this because you have beautiful legs. Are your legs insured?
No. Costs too much money to do that. No.
What advice would you give the young people today who want to become a great dancer or singer or just want to make it big in TV or the theater?
Well, I've always said for dancers particularly that they have to love it more than anything because it's a very hard profession. They have to love it, more, as I say, than life itself, because it has a lot of heartaches. You're going to have a lot of injuries. You're going to have a lot to contend with. And today, especially with the lack of variety on television, the lack of dancing shows in New York even, you just got to keep pushing because it's very hard business today.
What about coping with, say, loneliness or unkind critics at times, although I don't think you probably ever received an unkind critic. How do you cope with it?
I've had unkind criticism, and I always think that one must look to from whence the source cometh, you know. Usually they've been very frustrated people in whatever walk of life they've decided to be in. So I have had the criticism. What was the first part of that?
How do you cope with unkind criticism?
Being lonely. I don't ever feel that I'm lonely. I just think I have too many things that keep me occupied. I've got my dogs at home. I've got my garden.
And cats. Don't forget the cats.
And my cats. And I've got a son. And I've got my being, and which takes a lot of taking care of. I never sit around and get lonely or feel sorry for myself.
I know from my notes you're also interested in ESP.
No, I'm not. I don't know where that
Oh.
came from. That was thrown in by someone just, I think, to make me sound a little bit more controversial than I am.
Oh, at least I do my homework. Now we got it right. No, you're not interested in ESP.
I'm not interested at all in ESP. I do believe it exists, absolutely, because I think we all have premonitions. I know for myself that every once in a while I've gotten a premonition about something. I haven't followed through with it, and it has come about. And I've thought, why didn't I listen to my inner self? You know, so that is a form of ESP in its way also.
I know that you just do not star in nightclubs, but the whole show is built around you.
In nightclubs?
Mm-hmm. You kind of create your own show.
Well, yeah, you know, when you're coming in with your own show, then you pay for everything that's seen up there. You get your choreographer and your music people and your dress designers and all of that. You know, it takes a lot. Initially, it takes a tremendous financial output. Because to do a big show like I used to do, I don't do the big shows anymore, but when I was traveling around with like 12 dancers and myself, those shows would cost a lot of money to mount. And it would take a few weeks of playing before they would be paid off.
Now, how do you personally stay in great shape?
Well, I don't dance anymore. I just gave that up. And but I keep busy all day. I go to the gym, I have yoga, I have exercise classes I go to, I have my dogs that I walk. I do a lot of work every day.
How about following a special diet?
No, I don't follow a special diet. I do try and watch the amount of fat and sugar that I put into my body, and that's about the only things I watch. I don't eliminate them completely, but I'm very aware of how much I put them into me.
All right, right now, I'd like you to motivate our viewers to come out and see the best little whorehouse in Texas.
Y'all come see us here. Yes, I would like to. I think it's a wonderful crowd pleaser, the show. I have played it once before, and audiences love the show. They just have to be aware of the subject matter that they're coming to see. This is not a prim and proper show, and it's a little raunchy, and it has a few bad words in it, but it really is a fun show.
Is it clean enough for young kids?
I think today, yes. My God, I think young kids today heard more than anyone does anymore.
I'd like to talk about some of your other hobbies. You said you gave up dancing. What does that exactly mean? You won't be appearing in any more nightclubs or
No,
performing in movies?
What I'm trying to do is get away from dancing.
Oh, don't say that. We love you when you're dancing.
Yes, but you can't dance forever. And you have to, you know, realize that time is going on, whether you like it or not, and that one is getting older, whether you like it or not. And that over the years, if I don't start pulling back now, then it's going to be too late, and I don't want to deteriorate. I don't want people to say to me, oh, well, you should have seen her when. I don't like that. So I would rather pull away while I'm still capable and just leave it the way it was. You know?
Well, thank you, Juliet Prowse. Until next time for Catch a Star, this has been Nola Joy Carello. I'd like to thank my cameraman today, David Michael, and we will see you at the Music Circus.